There was a time when clothing wasn't just fashion. It was communication. A color could speak volumes. A fabric could whisper grief. In the 1920s, American women dressed not just for the world they lived in, but for the emotions they carried. Mourning was an act of respect and a ritual. Every stitch, every veil, every shade of gray told the world how deeply someone was missed. After the heartbreak of the First World War and the Spanish flu, America was still healing. And yet, even in loss, there was grace and elegance in how people expressed love and remembrance. Today, we're opening the pages of that quiet past to explore 10 mourning dresses American women wore at funerals in the 1920s, the styles that defined grief, comforted hearts, and slowly faded away as modern life began to change. Number 1. The full mourning black crepe dress. In the early 1920s, mourning still followed strict Victorian codes. When a woman lost her husband, she entered what was called deep mourning, a time when black crepe ruled her wardrobe. These dresses were long and heavy, with high collars, long sleeves, and not a single trace of shine. Crepe was chosen because it was dull, almost lightless, meant to absorb sorrow itself. Some women wore it for 6 months, others for 2 full years. The idea was that the depth of your black reflected the depth of your love. But as the jazz age took hold and women embraced freedom, this old ritual began to soften. The full mourning dress became less common, replaced by simpler, lighter styles that said, "Life must go on." Number 2, the jet-beaded gown. For those who still wanted beauty amid sorrow, there was a jet-beaded gown. Jet, a fossilized form wood polished to a soft sheen, had been prized since Queen Victoria herself wore it in the 1800s. In the 1920s, American women carried that tradition forward. Tiny jet beads traced delicate floral patterns across sleeves and hems, catching just a flicker of candlelight at evening memorials. The sparkle was modest, never boastful, a sign of reverence rather than vanity. These dresses let women honor loss with dignity and artistry. But when new synthetic beads and cheaper materials arrived, the craft faded. Jet beads, once symbols of quiet strength, were tucked away in drawers and memory boxes. Number 3, the veiled hat ensemble. Few images are as haunting or as graceful as a woman in a black veil. In the 1920s, a funeral veil was both shield and statement. Draped from a small cloche hat or wide-brimmed bonnet, the veil covered the face in shadow, giving the mourner privacy in her pain. Newspapers from the time described processions of veiled women, walking slowly behind carriages, hands clasped in quiet prayer. The veil fluttered like a curtain between the living and the departed. It was a moment of ritual, deeply human, deeply emotional. But as the modern age dawned and grief became more private, the veil itself vanished from everyday funerals. Still, its image, soft, solemn, cinematic, remains one of the most powerful symbols of mourning ever captured. Number 4, the transition gray dress. After months of black, a woman in mourning could begin to wear gray. It was called half mourning, a step toward color and toward life. These gray dresses were soft and understated, often made of silk or lightweight wool, simple in cut but rich in meaning. They told the world that the heart was still healing, but beginning to find peace. Sometimes a gray dress was trimmed with pale lace or paired with a lavender ribbon, just enough color to whisper hope. By the 1930s, mourning had become more personal, less defined by etiquette. But that gentle transition from black to gray remains one of the most tender customs in fashion history. Number 5, the drop-waist mourning frock. Even sorrow had to keep up with style. By the mid-1920s, flapper fashion was sweeping America. Women shortened their hemlines, bobbed their hair, and claimed new independence. When loss struck, they didn't return to the heavy gowns of their mothers. Instead, they adapted, and the drop-waist mourning frock was born. It had the familiar flapper silhouette, straight, youthful, and easy to move in, but dyed entirely black or deep navy. Some had subtle embroidery, others simple pearl buttons. It was mourning, yes, but it was also modern womanhood asserting itself. These dresses symbolized resilience, that even in sadness, women could still move forward with grace. Number 6, the lace-trimmed afternoon dress. Not every funeral was grand or somber. Many took place in small churches, in towns where everyone knew each other. The lace-trimmed afternoon dress was perfect for such moments, modest, soft, and dignified. A touch of black lace at the collar or sleeves added delicacy, balancing sorrow with femininity. Often, these dresses were handmade or altered from older garments, a practical act of care in a time when not everyone could afford new clothes for grief. In these simple lace details lived a kind of quiet love, the kind that stitches the little beauty into even the heaviest days. Number 7. The mourning suit ensemble. Not all women could afford long gowns or separate wardrobes for mourning. Many had jobs, children, and daily tasks that required practicality. Enter the mourning suit, a tailored jacket and skirt, both in black wool or crepe, paired with a plain blouse and dark hat. It allowed women to keep tradition while remaining functional. It was the outfit of teachers, secretaries, widows managing farms, or mothers walking to church. The mourning suit became the uniform of everyday strength, a balance between respect for loss and the need to keep life running. By the end of the decade, colorful suits replaced them, but that look of quiet determination never went out of style. Number 8. The velvet mourning gown. In the cold months, black velvet made grief almost regal. Soft, heavy, and rich in texture, velvet mourning gowns were reserved for older women or for those attending formal services. When candlelight hit the fabric, it seemed to drink in the glow, dark, silent, and beautiful. Velvet wasn't just fashion. It was symbolism, showing that love, like velvet, could hold depth and warmth even in the darkest times. But velvet required care and cost, and as the Great Depression loomed, such luxury faded. Those gowns, carefully folded in cedar chests, became heirlooms, reminders of a time when mourning was an art form of its own. Number 9. The lilac half-mourning dress. When black and gray finally gave way to color, it was usually lilac. This pale purple carried a special meaning, remembrance without despair. It was soft, gentle, hopeful. Women wore lilac chiffon or silk for afternoon teas, memorial gatherings, or visits to the cemetery. It told the world, I am remembering, but I am living again. Lilac and lavender shades were often paired with white gloves and pearls, signaling that the period of deep mourning was ending. By the 1930s, fashion abandoned these coded transitions, but lilac has never lost its quiet symbolism, the color of memory and renewal. Number 10. The mourning cape and gloves. No outfit was complete without its finishing touches. The mourning cape, usually short and made of black crepe or velvet, draped softly over the shoulders, creating an elegant, mysterious silhouette. Gloves, always black and always worn in public, offered a layer of decorum and respect. Together, they acted as a kind of emotional armor, giving women both warmth and privacy in moments of heartbreak. When modern dress grew simpler, these small but powerful symbols disappeared. But if you look closely at old photographs, you'll still see them. Capes fluttering in the wind, gloves folded tightly in hand, silent gestures of love and dignity. Mourning dresses of the 1920s weren't just garments. They were messages, unspoken letters of love, loss, and remembrance. In every fold of fabric lived a story, a widow's strength, a daughter's devotion, a mother's goodbye. And while today's funerals may look simpler, that old sense of grace, of honoring life through beauty and care, still lingers. Because mourning at its heart is not about darkness. It's about remembering the light that once was. If you enjoyed stepping back into this gentle corner of the past, give this video a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Vintage USA Lifestyle, where we keep the past alive, one beautiful memory at a time.